6 p.m. in our studio clock. Good evening, dear viewers of Equinoxe Television. Thank you so much for joining me on today's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast. I am Immaculate Fogwe. Professor Maurice Kamto, Joshua Osi, Cabral Levy, Akeremun, and many others mourn a man whom they qualify as an exceptional intellectual. The different tributes paid to Professor Joseph Owona comes after the news of his demise on January 6th. The former cabinet minister and professor of law died while serving at the Constitutional Council. Meantime, several children or young persons continue roaming the streets in Cameroon's major cities, helplessly striving for survival, many of them facing life-threatening challenges every day. On today's edition of the news, some of the street children will reveal to you shocking revelations about their experiences on the streets. Those are major stories. Stay with us for details and more. Thank you so much for staying with us. Over 50 workers of a security company in Marwa have staged a protest demanding the departure of their boss. They also denounced the unjust dismissal and recruitment of new workers, among other things. Details with Innocent Aze.
Over 50 workers in number who decided to decline from their duty post and demonstrate, blocking the entrance into the dark services, a security branch company in Marwa. Among several things requested is the departure of their boss, barely 2 years old, into his function.
Comme lui, il ne veut pas travailler, on faut un élément qui va travailler.
Nous avons fini même à la justice.
What shocks us more is the recruitment of 12 new workers days ago, after several people were dismissed for economic management reasons. We unanimously agreed that he considers those with job contracts before recruiting new workers.
Mais il ne l'a pas fait.
The disgruntled security workers also demand employment contracts for those without, salary increment, vacation bonuses, and others. At the security branch company here in Marwa, we do not have a legal health professional. When sick, you are abandoned alone. When a colleague dies, he is not recognized, he is abandoned to his family, and the company were collected. Our rights at the National Social Insurance Fund are not respected. Also, we are not granted permission, and our leave duration is abused. You work for over 15 years and receive a salary of 40,000 francs. Someone recruited behind you receives more than the amount. All these problems, according to the disgruntled security workers, have failed to be given deserved resolution attention by their boss, despite authorization from different authorities.
Manuscrit. En sortant des sports, on a écrit, on est allé lui donner dans son bureau. Il a lui-même devant nous, il a dit qu'il va mettre en application.
Speaking off camera, the heads of the company assured measures are being taken for those without a job contract. As concerns those who are being laid off, he stressed they are not qualified, advancing illiteracy.
That the video of a man getting married to 5 women in Bari Bakem in the Mungo division has been circulating on social media since Saturday. The man in his 50s has been cohabiting with his wives for over 30 years. A.C. Lucy Liengo was part of the wedding ceremony in Bari Bakem and now reports on how the event unfolded. Her report.
After cohabiting with some of them for over 30 years, Sonken Robert, 53 years old, formalizes a civil union with his 5 wives.
My darling! Hey! My love!
At the council hall of Bari Bakem in the Mungo division last Saturday, 6th of January 2024, Sonken Robert confessed his love for his 5 wives by wearing the ring on each of them: Florence Gano, Virginie Gemeni, Octavine Gano, and Nicole Sonkwe. In the presence of family members, in-laws, onlookers, the second deputy mayor encouraged the couples to communicate like the Sonken's family. He also reassured the population that the wedding followed all legal procedures.
C'est le 3 novembre que La publication, les différentes publications ont été faites, les 5 publications.
To Sonken Virginie, one of Robert's wives, the secret is understanding, perseverance and love, and this has helped strengthen their bond.
Nous sommes aimés entre nous, nous sommes serrés les coudes et on a traversé des moments difficiles.
Sonken Robert, father of about 30 children, sees his union with his wives as divine.
Ils sont arrivés devant moi, pas plus comme des femmes, mais plutôt comme des sœurs, comme mes mamans.
Though polygamy is legally recognized in Cameroon and Africa, it is, however, not accepted by some religious denominations.
Several young persons continue roaming the streets in Cameroon's major cities, helplessly striving for survival. Many of them facing life-threatening challenges every day. The UNDP is partnering with Ministries of Social Affairs and Youth and Civic Education to put an end to the phenomenon of street children. Babla Jonathan is the man of that story.
She has been in the streets in Douala for several years.
I'm living in Douche for a long time,
From the southwest region, Eno found herself in Douala on the streets in different parts of the town.
It's my mother who brought me here in Douala. In the year 2003, she died in 2003.
He too has been homeless for several years.
I've been there like for 2 years, but with the period of time that I've been in street, life is not easy.
Both of them say the street is a jungle filled with thorns at every corner.
You are exposed to so many dangers, so many harassment that if you are not, you don't take your stand, you will not be able to cope.
At times I sleep with friends, at times I have a place to sleep by myself. At times I just hide myself to sleep. At times, yes, in the roadside.
Like them, many young persons are braving the cold, heat, scorching sun, darkness to survive on the streets of Douala. The United Nations Development Programme and the Ministries of Social Affairs and Youth Affairs and Civic Education are now taking more than 100 of them out of the streets. They have been doing some community work for which they are paid.
We concluded 1 month of cash for work with the young people of the street in Douala, and it's been, as far as I am concerned, a great success.
Others are receiving technical aid, equipment and some goods for their socio-economic reintegration into the normal life trend and financial independence. It is part of the United Nations Development Programme's strategy to take thousands of young people out of the streets of Yaoundé, Douala and Gaoundéré.
And over to our sad page, an overflow of emotions have been recorded in the form of tributes to the fallen statesman, Professor Joseph Owona. Political actors from across the board have saluted the man whom they say was excellent in many aspects of state affairs. However, the absence of other side of the man, Professor Joseph Owona, is in their tribute is loud. Femi Armstrong Sander reports.
Attorney Akere Muna in his tribute says Joseph Owona was one of the few individuals that his father, Esti Muna, allowed into his bedroom during his illness. As an exceptional intellectual, he had a humble and approachable demeanor. Akere Muna says Joseph Owona's appointment to the Constitutional Court was seen as a means to enhance the academic excellence of the prestigious institution. Like him, Professor Maurice Kamto of the CRM political party says Joseph Owona was a brilliant lawyer, a gifted constitutionalist, and a fascinating teacher. He says Joseph Owona influenced his decision to divert from private law to study public law at the Faculty of Law and Economics of the University of Yaoundé. Professor Maurice Kamto salutes the professor for a fair competitive entrance examination into IRIC in the 1979, where he too was candidate. O.C. Joshua of the SDF says Professor Joseph Owona's legacy is immense, not least his ability to break ice at the height of political crisis at the end of the 1990s, where he went to Bamenda and officially addressed the late president as my dear chairman, demonstrating great courage and openness that will remain etched in our memories. Honorable Cabral Libi also joined in a tribute saluting the academic greatness of the professor. Cabral Libi says his unique school and academic career allowed him to access at a very young age the very restricted circle of associate professors at the time, thus packing vocations. However, worthy of note is the fact that none of these political actors highlighted the weaknesses of the fallen professor, who was often linked by some critics to state tribalism, divisive and controversial decisions. His role at the helm of the Constitutional Committee of the 1991 tripartite in Cameroon, especially on the question of the form of state, has often come under tough criticisms, especially with the performance of today's decentralization in Cameroon.
And now to our foreign page. Chad's interim Prime Minister Success Masra announces on state television that he will use his salary to sponsor social scholarships programs which promote excellence. According to him, it is a way of giving back to the community. And in Senegal, the Constitutional Council has rejected the candidacy of Ousmane Sonko ahead of the February presidential elections. A roundup of these stories with our reporter, Mala Glory.
On January 7, 2024, Success Masra, fierce opponent of Mahamat Déby's regime, announced his decision to renounce his salary as Prime Minister of Chad. He made this announcement on national television. Appointed to the post of Prime Minister on January 1, 2024, by the President of the transition, Mahamat Déby, Success Masra has expressed his intention to put his salary at the service of a social scholarship aimed at promoting excellence in the 23 regions of the country. The decision of Success Masra, according to him, is motivated by the fact that he himself benefited from excellent scholarships and social scholarships during his time. Having grown up in a village, Success Masra emphasized that it was people who believe in his talent and his potential who supported him without looking at his social condition. The Prime Minister also explained his motivation for joining the regime of President Mahamat Déby, which he had previously opposed for several months. According to him, he considers serving Chad a privilege. And elsewhere in Dakar, Senegal's Constitutional Council over the weekend rejected jailed opposition leader Ousmane Sonko's candidacy for next month's presidential vote. Sonko's lawyer, Sire Clédor-Ly, said the candidacy was rejected on the grounds that the application was incomplete. Sonko filed his candidacy with the Constitutional Council in December despite the state refusal to provide him with the documents needed to run. The lawyer denounced the council's decision and suggested he would lodge the appeal provided for by law. A day earlier, the opposition figures chances of running for president have been thrown into jeopardy after the Supreme Court upheld his 6-month suspension.
Now we talk elements connected to sports, as traders at the main market of the Yamoussoukro say the jersey market hasn't been active days before the kickoff of the African Football Jamboree. Even though some buyers have been coming to get the jerseys, one of the most bought jerseys is that of Cameroon after host nation Ivory Coast.
Is to the kickoff of the 34th edition of the African Nations Cup. We are at the main market of Yamoussoukro. Let us take a tour of the Yamoussoukro main market to tell you how far sports gadgets, particularly jerseys, are being sold. Situated adjacent to the divisional officer's job site, the main market of Yamoussoukro deals in several foodstuffs and goods. But as a result of the AFCON, the sale of jerseys is taking the center stage. At one of the stores, Abdul, whom we met, arranging his goods, told us business is kind of slow. Things have started timidly. For now, people are taking few, definitely waiting for the last days. It wasn't the same case for Sangare, who is having a good time. Business is moving on well since the AFCON is near. We have Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso jerseys, but fortunately that of Cameroon is finished. The last time we ordered for them, people came and took them all. The population of Cameroon here is many. Apart from the Ivory Coast orange-colored jerseys, which one can see many, Abdul and Sangare have jerseys of other nations like Mali, Burkina Faso, Senegal, but with different prices. The price depends on the quality of the jersey, and it ranges from 6,000 to 15,000 francs CFA. No matter the nation's jersey, we have a common price, which is 10,000 francs CFA. You must have noticed that it has not been a great one for most of the buyers, and maybe those who are selling jerseys. They told us that the market is slow because the Nations Cup is not yet around, but they are hoping that in the course of the day, things will be moving on well. Emmanuel Job, Smart Njikan Gabriel on special assignment for Equinoxe Television News in Ivory Coast.
Meantime, it is rush hour for designers in the Yamoussoukro who are struggling to meet up with demand at the Nations Cup draws near. Visiting one of the workshops, our reporters say the designers work until late at night so as to meet up with demands from customers who want personalized jerseys. Smaji Kangiru once more reports.
As a result of the African Nations Cup, whose hostilities will soon start in Ivory Coast come January 13, 2024, designers within the town of Yamoussoukro are now having sleepless nights. These designers do personified jerseys for their customers who bring them to their office. Due to the African Nations Cup, we have too much work to do here with personified jerseys brought to us from the different teams that qualify for the AFCON. For a personified jersey to be set, it all begins at the level of the designer creating just what the customer requested for, from where it will be printed out before the jersey number and name will be printed out on the jersey. With the increase in demand of personified jerseys, prices are also negotiable. The price is affordable for all of our customers who come to us. If the supply is many, we arrange the price. Yamoussoukro will be hosting Group D of the African Nations Cup, which has Senegal, Cameroon, Guinea, and the Gambia.
For the first part of the news, Talking Point is up next. And tonight on Talking Point, we'll be talking about the recent campaign aimed at defying hate speech that took place in Boya over the weekend. And as guest, I'll be having His Royal Majesty Kombe Dike, member of the Southwest House of Chiefs. Good evening, Your Majesty. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation. You are a member of the Southwest House of Chiefs, and we noticed you were part of the Defy Hate campaign launched in the town of Boya. What are the motives behind such a campaign?
To start with, I want to thank the head of state of this republic, President Paul Biya, for giving us an opportunity for living together and making Cameroonians, that wherever you are, you have the right to feel free and live as a Cameroonian, but you respect the norms and culture of the people you have met. I think the motive behind is to educate the population of the situation whereby there are so many things going wrong. People say things they're not supposed to say. But for the fact that we're living together as a principles, it's a fallout from the national dialogue. We have to advise people to withdraw from hard words that can get people, worried, feel uncomfortable, feel a type in the society. I think that's why the honorable member have to launch an occasion of this magnitude, for the fact that we educate people like taxi drivers who are principal actors in the field to move along with people from one destination to the other.
But then, several persons have been propagating hate speech on different social media platforms, from videos of the campaign circulating online. We noticed that Moja Moja was part of the campaign. Shouldn't we doubt the credibility of such a campaign, given that the personality is renowned for propagating hate speech and terror?
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. I think that this exercise that was put in place was not meant for a special individual. It was a general public education. And I want to think that even Moja Moja you who are trying to talk of is part of those who were bound to learn also in this exercise. And I'm happy you talked about social media. Social media is a platform where certain things can be created or justified without facts and proofs. But I think that Moja Moja also was, I think I want to appreciate the Honorable, but to ensure that someone to be part of it and to learn from the fact that we can limit the way we talk in the public. This issue was not just limited to the taxi drivers or those who were there, but even to anybody, to all the Cameroonians. Even in your office, you can know how to approach somebody and welcome somebody, and you know that you restrict and you shape your language to avoid people feeling very uncomfortable. You make people feel I'm not wanted here. No, those are the things we're trying. That was the education that was going out, and I think that everybody who was there had an opportunity to learn. Even myself, I learned the fact that our languages should have limit wherever we are. So I think that it was an exercise for everybody, and if the Moja Moja that you pointed out concerning social media was there, I think that it was a point of success. And
then, what is the need of mobilizing people, whereas there are fundamental issues that should be solved, like the Anglophone crisis? The real people who equally need to be preached, let's say peace, are in the bushes holding guns. Should such a campaign not be considered as a one-man show?
Madam, if I may say something on this point, I think that this exercise is a fallout of the national dialogue, and I personally want to congratulate or appreciate the governor of the Southwest region, Okalia Bilai, His Excellency Okalia Bilai, for his wonderful work he has done in this region. He has worked tirelessly to ensure that we have relative peace in this region. So I think that when this crisis started, it was not like this. I think today we can be honest to ourselves. So when people say the message was supposed to go to the people who are in the bushes, who are the head of state made it clearly in his last address that they should leave, drop their arms and come back home. I would think that this such exercise takes the message to them wherever they are. They get what we are saying. They got what we are saying. And this issue is not a one-man show. I don't think it's a one-man show, because I think this thing happened in the presence of the division officer for Chico, for Boya, the Lord Mayor, Deputy Lord Mayor for Boya, who is also a traditional ruler, the Mayor of Chico also, who doubles as the chief of Lisoka Bule, the Secretary General of the Divisional Representative of the Regional Council was there also. Forces of law and order and traditional rulers in Fako, saying that a one-man show, and the entire population was there to see what is happening. And that same population ensures that, because these children are our children, we communicate with them, they communicate with their families. The message will get to them that this is what we are talking, this is what we want. So it's not a one-man show. And our idea is that they should drop their arms and come back home, so we live as we have been living in the past. So I think the message has gone to them, and the right people have gotten the message we sent.
You are telling the population to defy hate speech. Can there be peace without justice? Can there be peace on a wrong foundation?
Peace. And there is justice. And there is peace on the right foundation. Because when you say so, I think if you follow the last address of the head of state, made it clearly that the judiciary is independent, and the judiciary has a responsibility to justify things before taking their decision. And I want to tell you that particularly within the Southwest region, the head of the judiciary department have been doing their best. That's why you see situations are being managed the way they are,
And when it comes to those who are involved or those who are not involved, they do everything to justify you faulty or not faulty, or guilty or not guilty. So I want to think that when you say there is no justice, there is justice. And the judiciary have been doing their best to ensure that the affairs and those who are involved with what they say separatists, if you are not part of it, you are not part of it. If you are part of it, you find yourself you find yourself a victim. So I want to think that there's justice. If you say there is no justice, I think that one is not a good statement for us Cameroonians. It is not a good one, because here in the Southwest region, the judiciary have proven their worth, and which anybody, administrator who's at that level that can see what they are doing will tell you that they are giving in the best. So I want to assure you that when it comes to Southwest region, there is justice which accompanies the activities we have on the ground.
You earlier talked about relative peace in the Southwest region. Can we really boast of peace in the Southwest region, whereas we continue registering deaths and other casualties? We can clearly remember what happened in Egbeko village in Mamfe. That's to tell us that peace seems to far-fetched. What's your opinion about that?
One was there. So I think that we are still talking about the crisis. And all these things we are doing is a fallout of the national dialogue, that we have to preach peace. And that's what we have been doing. It's not a matter of saying that the MP did not join this one or join that one in the parliament. This matter is open in the parliament. It's 87 years today. Even you behind your kitchen know that there is a problem. So what are we talking about that? The problem here we have is that we as individuals can talk to our children from behind the house. We can leave that thing you are doing, they come back home. It's enough. Is it a PM that will go and remove them from the bushes? No. We have a duty to do that ourselves. And I think that this exercise that the honorable member launched with other CPDM members has sent a strong message to the children that we need them to come back on our own part. I want to think that there's relative peace in this region today. We have to appreciate the representative of the state, and it's a time major for their wonderful work they have been doing. It cannot be in other places, but I think that here in the Southwest region we are guaranteed of peace, because you can go out today, you come back, drive your car home whenever you want. And I think that today we were talking in that gathering not as CPDM but as Cameroonian. And I want to think that it is time that we have to know that individuals have responsibility to tell their children to come back home.
His Royal Highness Kombe Dike, member of the Southwest House of Chiefs. Thank you so much for being part of Talking Point tonight. And that's what put an end to today's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on ETV. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your keen attention. Stay in the company of more programs, especially Equinoxe, which is coming in a jiffy.